Let's go to, Filmo's here. Hey, Filmo. Filmo Mike, everybody, on Willard and Dibs.
Hey, what's up with it? What's up with it, man?
What's good?
You know what, Mark? To play upon y'all, what y'all just talking about, that's a great question. But anyway, Peter is a real one. You like that one? You like that?
I like that.
That's my inner Dibs.
Yeah, thank you.
That's my inner Dibs.
I like it.
Because I heard Dibs. He was trying to catch you, and he's like, "What do you mean?" He was trying to do it, but it's all good. I love that, Dibs. You're a funny one.
Thank
but
you,
anyway,
Phil.
Peter a real one, man, because you guys made me. You guys in the show before y'all helped me rearrange my opinion on Peter King. I used to think I didn't like him. I thought he was boring, but he a real one now. But listen, Mark. When I used to watch him on the point after, he used to come on the point after on the Monday Night Football games. Anyway, Mark.
Yes.
We don't want to talk about it. If they want to disrespect Brock Purdy, let them do that, because I want Brock Purdy with a chip on his shoulder. I don't want a Brock Purdy feeling buttered up. I love it, Mark. You right, though, about everything you saying.
I don't disagree with what you're saying either, though, Filmo. And here's the good news. The good news is I don't even need to be quiet about it. Two reasons. One, I have a talk show. That would be tough.
Yeah.
But two is what I've learned this year, and Filmo, thank you, Grandy. What I've learned this year is he can play well and it doesn't matter. And I tried to tell you this a few weeks ago, and I still believe it. He can win the Super Bowl, it's still not going to stop. It's still not going to stop. I know that that's everybody's sort of ending argument when it comes to the Brock Purdy conversation. Once you win the Super Bowl, then it'll change. And I'm like, nope, don't think so. I really don't. And we've watched quarterbacks win a Super Bowl before, and in fact, we've then decided to use them as examples going forward of game managers, system quarterbacks, Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson, Nick Foles, what have you.
Jeff
Hostetler. Like, I do not believe that winning one Super Bowl is going to make people go, well, now he's a $50 million quarterback. Because we've already had people that we have given that label to who haven't won the Super Bowl. We never made Josh Allen do it. We haven't made Lamar Jackson do it. God knows last year we didn't make Jalen Hurts do it, and we lost our damn mind about the way he was playing football. And these are good players. They're great players. I'm not taking anything away from them. I'd want them on my team for sure. But we have given them the elite label without the Super Bowl, and we refuse to even entertain the conversation with Brock to the point where well-respected media members don't think he's as good as Baker Mayfield. And so if that's ridiculous, and I think that it is, then why would this be ridiculous? I think that Brock has got the best chance of any of the 8 quarterbacks to win the Super Bowl this year, and I do not think that that is going to change a lot of people's minds.
Yeah, I wonder, and I hope we get to have that conversation in February. I think it will change people's minds, and if you're a holdout at that point, well, then you're just a good old-fashioned hater, because if you look at what Brock Purdy has done, even if you don't watch a lot of Niner games, you look at statistically, he's been one of the best quarterbacks in football. He leads the league in a number of different meaningful metrics, including yards per attempt and quarterback rating and completion percentage and all the rest of it. He's at the top or near the top of all of it. So you can't get to the end of this run if the run ends with a Lombardi and look at him and go, well, you know, they won despite their starting quarterback. And I don't have the numbers of Trent Dilfer. I know he didn't start the whole year, and Hostetler and Brad Johnson, but I would bet you, Mark, that they were not statistically in the echelon that Brock Purdy was.
God, not even close. Part of that is
exactly.
the game has changed every few years.
Right, but even relative to their peers. I'm not saying Brad Johnson's numbers compared to the numbers that these quarterbacks are doing. What about the numbers of the other guys in the league at that time in 2000 and I guess that'd be 2002, the 2003 Super Bowl? I remember it well. I was at my buddy Matt LaPelt's house. He's a Tampa Bay Bucks fan, and I had my little 2-year-old run around, and the ex had a baby on the inside at the time, and Tampa rolled the Raiders. So that's a whole different time now. It's 20-plus years ago.
Want Trent Dilfer's numbers?
For the season?
Yeah.
He started probably 9 games.
Very good memory, only 8.
Okay.
Half the season.
And he probably threw for 1,500 yards.
1,502.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
I remember because I've actually gone through and looked at his log of games, and he had a couple, like under 200 yards, probably 6 of those games.
You'll be stunned. Everybody will be stunned.
He was under 100 yards a couple times, right?
If you just go by his starts, he's averaging 187 yards a game.
$187.
Now, he played in 3 games in which he did not start.
Right.
So there were a couple of throws in there. But overall, his record was 7-1. Got any memory on what the touchdown to interception ratio was?
Yeah. In the 8 games, it was probably like 9-2.
12-11.
11 picks?
Barely better than 1-1.
And they won games like 5-4, 17-2.
Their defense was insane.
8-1, I think they won one game.
Insane. Actually, they scored more than that a lot because they would get so many pick sixes, and their defense would give them such a short field like they did in the Super Bowl, in which I think they scored 34.
But rattle off the opponent's points in those starts from Dilfer.
Well, I'm only looking at Dilfer's numbers right now. Completion percentage, under 60%.
Yeah.
59.3.
So you look at that and you go, okay.
Come on, what are we doing?
That was a product of the team. And, this is where it becomes, to me, counterintuitive to what you're saying. I don't think you're wrong. Some people will continue to say, well, Brock Purdy, Super Bowl winner, who cares? It was Shanahan and McCaffrey that team
Keep going.
and the play sheet
That's exactly
and the
what they're
system
gonna say.
and the defense and Steve Wilkes and Wisnowski and all the rest of it. It's nonsense.
It is nonsense because the other thing we can dispel is the idea, and let's go more historical here. Greg Olson saying it this morning. We'll play that for you in a moment. By the way, the window's open. More on that in just a second. But the idea that just because you have a good roster, it means you can kind of toss whatever you want in there at the QB position. Let's do that in all of sports. So, do the Warriors have a good roster?
Yeah.
Feels like they got a bunch of people on that roster who are going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Probably 4 of them.
Bunch of people who have been all-stars, bunch of people who have been lottery picks, bunch of losing records.
Yeah.
So you have to have the sauce in sports. You got to have the sauce. You cannot just be names. I covered that stupid Laker team when they got Dwight Howard and Steve Nash. Oh, it's 4 on the floor. No, it's an 8 seed and a sweep. They're terrible. You can't just be like, well, we got answers at every position. Not usually. Not usually. Remember when Dallas got Kyrie? How you gonna stop them? I have an idea. Just sit back and watch. They'll stop themselves. You can't just have names. The Niners have names everywhere, but you got to have the sauce. You got to have it. You got to have good players in important spots. You have to have chemistry. You have to have leadership. You have to have people who unlock the people around him. Does Kyle unlock Brock? Yes. Does Brock unlock Kyle? Damn right.
Yeah.
Trent Williams, great left tackle. Not if he's got a crappy quarterback behind him, he's not. Not if his running back stinks. Like, it's all got to be a concert. And he's the one who's the conductor. You can't play good football without him. Window is open. Let's ride. Christian McCaffrey, signed, framed, matted jersey. It is beautiful, and it is about to be yours. We're giving out the keyword real soon. The window is open, so you got to stay locked in between right now and 5:30. Steve Mariucci will join us at 5. All you'll need to do when we give you the keyword is text it to 20357. So get that number ready, 20357. We will give you the keyword coming up shortly. You can qualify for that CMAC jersey. Let's go to Gene in Oakland. Hi, Gene. You're on with Willard and Dibs.
Hey, fellas.
Hey, Gene.
Mark, I think you're 100% correct that these detractors, people that are still detractors about Brock Purdy, will likely always be detractors unless he wins maybe 3 or 4 Super Bowls. And they won't necessarily come around, but they'll probably just shut up and talk about something else. But listen, these are people. Amy Trask had my head exploding after what she said. These are people that form their opinions. It seems to me at the beginning, looking at this guy, smallish, weak arm, last pick, third string quarterback, and they form their opinions. They put it out there publicly, and they refuse to change their minds, even in the face of all of this, body of evidence to refute what they're saying, did say, and are still saying. So to me, it's just total nonsense. And listen, Amy, we shouldn't be nasty with anybody, especially about sports. But you know what? If you say something ridiculous like that, what you do is, I think you lose credibility. I mean, I'm not sure I can respect anything she says about football anymore after that. So, this nonsense is going to continue with these people. Maybe they should go back and look at Joe Montana. He had Hall of Famers all around him. Maybe he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame after all. That's how stupid this is.
Gene, thanks. Here's one thing I'll say, and with regard to Amy's point, I do, by the way, wish that she had pushed it a little bit further. I do wish she had backed it up. She spent a lot of the time saying, let's just disagree, but let's do it in a nice way, and I don't have any problem with that point, but I'm still a little confused as to what it is she specifically sees that has her make the comment. If you're just joining us, the comment is, this weekend, there are 7 terrific quarterbacks and Brock Purdy. She went on to say he's good, but he doesn't belong in the category with the rest who are terrific. I singled out at least Baker Mayfield and said, come on. But here's the compliment that I've continued to say is tucked into all of this. And if you're a Niner fan, you're directly part of this compliment. The Niner fan base is massive. It's loud. Some, if you're not one, think it's obnoxious. It's big. It travels. And therefore, it resonates. If you do this exact same thing, okay, take Amy's point and do it the exact same way, but sub out Brock Purdy and put in Baker Mayfield or Jared Goff or even Jordan Love, sub it out and tell me if you get a national story out of this. This weekend, 7 terrific quarterbacks and Baker Mayfield.
You're probably right. I mean, it's not so
whatever.
It's not so controversial.
It's
not scandalous, especially when you're dealing with the number 1 seed and a guy who was the front runner to win MVP as of Christmas Eve.
Right.
Even Christmas morning, even midday on Christmas, he was the front runner to win the MVP award. And then he went out and he had a stinker. And then, they beat Washington, big whoop, and he sat against the Rams. And you're right. In terms of the Brock Purdy narrative, it's easy after he hasn't played a game since New Year's Eve. It's been 19 days. It'll be 20 days between games for Brock Purdy. And because of that, we can all put him back in the box where we all want him to be. And that's why if they lose to Green Bay or to Detroit or Tampa or in the Super Bowl, it'll be easy for many people to say, see?
Told you.
See?
Yeah. Although... not really.
No, it's easy to say that. It doesn't mean you're right.
No, but I'm right.
That's what people will say.
Do you know how many terrific quarterbacks are going to lose this weekend?
4, Mark.
Apparently at least 3.
No, 4.
Well, but
because Brock's not one of them.
But if you're sure that Brock's not gonna lose,
I'm pretty sure.
But it's at least 3.
Yeah.
Like Mahomes or Allen, one of them's going to lose.
Both terrific.
And I'm going to rip whichever one loses. I'm coming after them. Well, overrated chance the whole day on Monday.
If Mahomes loses,
I've had it.
Then you can, that's the one box Mahomes has not checked.
Right.
Is road playoff win. You realize he's one of only 13 QBs in history to win multiple Super Bowls. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. I was thinking about it because you were talking about Brock Purdy. Even if he wins the bowl, he still doesn't get the respect. And I disagree with you. But I was thinking about it in terms of, does he need to go out and win 2? Because if he goes out and wins 2, he joins a list that is only 13 names long.
That would change it.
And you could probably name all 13 because it's hard to be a fluky QB and win 2 bowls.
Patrick has not technically played a road game in the playoffs.
Never.
But he sort of has. remember, he went to the Super Bowl in Tampa and played Tampa.
Yeah,
I know it's not technically a road game, but
especially, and you
right.
know the way they ticket the Super Bowl.
I know it's very, very different.
Yeah.
But he lost it.
Yeah.
He lost it. So
Joker.
Yeah, totally. Bills will win this weekend. Hey, Fred, in Richmond, you're on with Willard and Dibs. What's up?
Hey,
hi,
thanks
Fred.
for having me on, man.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
How are you doing?
We're good.
All right, man. I'm just a humble Niners fan, man. At this point, if the Niners don't go to the Super Bowl, it would be a real disappointment as a Niner fan with the Cowboys losing, with the Rams losing, with the Eagles losing. But I wanted to say, for all Niner fans, let's just stay humble and do what we're supposed to do. People in the media, they just want clickbait. Everybody knows Brock Purdy had a hell of a season. He was a top-tier quarterback this season. I'm not talking about last season. I'm not talking about next season. I'm talking about right now. He's a top-tier quarterback. And we all know he's better than Baker Mayfield. Give me a break. Give me a break. But, again, to all Niner fans, let's just be humble, take our time, do what we need to do to Green Bay and Jordan Love. People forget that for them to make the playoffs, they beat the Bears 17-9. He wasn't awesome in that game. Come on now. Let's just be honest here. Jordan Love beat a sorry Cowboy team, an overrated Cowboy team. But again, thanks for having me on. Go Niners.
Yeah, Fred, thanks. You actually don't have to be humble because you're a fan.
Exactly.
And you can just peacock as much as you want all over town.
That game's on Peacock?
Boy, can you imagine?
You saw the ratings were higher.
The numbers were huge.
The numbers were higher than last year's Saturday game in the same spot.
Yeah.
6% higher.
Yeah, we've all figured it out. We know how to find it, and that's where it's going.
Where's the game?
Yeah.
No, but I was a little surprised that the numbers were I was surprised the numbers were higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
The game was better, but the numbers were higher nonetheless.
Which one was it again?
I don't even remember.
Which game was the Peacock game?
The Chiefs game?
That's right. It was the freezing game. It wasn't even a good game. Wasn't even a good game.
Better matchup, though.
Yeah, it's a good matchup.
Yeah.
It's a good matchup.